Hey guys, and welcome back. So I finally got around to be making this video. I've been wanting to make this for the last week and I finally have some time for it. So what we're going to be talking about today is a very special, very interesting pipe tobacco that has come to my attention. And it is the Bloemfontein Navy Cut, which is a interesting tobacco, as I just said. It's a straight Virginia flake tobacco, and when you look at the tin art, I don't know what you guys think, but this tin art reminds me of something very familiar. And when I first saw this tobacco online on the German market, I thought that this was a rip-off of the very famous blue Capstan Navy Flake that most of us really enjoy, and it's a very famous and most pipe smokers out there, especially in the pipe enthusiast community, it's a very popular tobacco blend. But what I come to realize is that this has a very special history and is very far from being a rip-off of the Capstan Blue Navy Cut. So what this is, or let's maybe go back a little bit, or actually first of all, we will be smoking this today, but I'll have to talk a little bit about it first before we will light it up and I'll show you everything. But so if you want to skip the whole history, and you might be in for a long one, so you just skip ahead if you find the first part of this not so interesting. As you probably know, I'm trying to build my pipe tobacco cellar, especially around Mac Baren tobacco. Since I really enjoy Mac Baren pipe tobacco, I just want to make sure. Oh, we're good. And since they are going out of production and the original factory is closing, STG will be taking over. So I'm building out the Mac Baren pipe tobacco in my cellar, since I want to have as much as possible for the future, since I really enjoy the Mac Baren blends. And even though STG is taking over, I'm expecting the blends to really change. So I'm expecting the worst, you could say. Anyways, in that journey of me building that pipe cellar, I've been getting in contact with various pipe tobacco distributors in Germany. And one guy, he recommended, hey, why don't you try something else that is also made by Mac Baren? Since Cigarworld in Germany, which is a very big online retail store for pipes and cigars in Germany, they are doing some house blends. They are doing different house blends, and since they don't have their own manufacturing facilities, they are working together and have been working together with different pipe tobacco manufacturers to make their house blends for them. And they actually cooperated with Mac Baren back in the day. And they also cooperated with the very famous Georg Per Georg Jensen, or Per Georg Jensen, as we say in Denmark, who is the famous and former headblender of Mac Baren. And Cigarworld and TabakBenden, which is a very big pipe tobacco retail company in Germany, and Cigarworld is their online retail shop. So this company is a retailer of pipes and cigars and pipe tobacco within Germany. They don't produce themselves, but they are a retail company. So they also have other factories to produce for them. Anyways, Cigarworld, in cooperation with Per Georg Jensen, they came up with the idea of making a replica of the very famous blue Capstan Navy Cut. And the idea that they set out for is to come as close to the original blue Capstan as possible. So that was the project, and this is what they came out with. So if you think that the tin art looks very much like Blue Navy Flake, it is because it is actually a celebration of that blend. And the only funny thing is that was quite interesting to me is that Mac Baren is actually the ones that are producing the blue Capstan Navy Flake, and has been for years. So when Mac Baren and probably Per Georg Jensen was involved in starting and trying to replicate the original blue Capstan when they took over production of that blend, so he was already involved in making the, I guess you could say, the original blue Capstan. So what was weird for me is to realize that Per Georg Jensen was then working together with the German pipe tobacco retailers from TabakBenden and Cigarworld to produce a replica of that exact same blend that he was actually involved in doing in the first place. It would have made more sense if he was not involved in the original blue Capstan and then someone else was trying to make their own version of it. But then my own logic was maybe he was forced into some direction when they were replicating the blue Capstan Navy Flake from Mac Baren. And when he saw the opportunity to work together with this German company and make another replica of it, maybe he had, and now I'm just guessing, maybe he just had more free hands in this project and was able to go even closer to what he wanted. That is just guesswork on my end. But anyways, since I'm in love with flake tobacco and Mac Baren tobacco, guys in Germany was recommending this to me, and it's been a pipe tobacco that has been, for me at least, going really under the radar. I can only find a little bit of information about it in the German community, but there's not many people in the US talking about it, and in Denmark I have never heard about it. But I thought this is something that I have to try, since I really love the blue Capstan Navy Flake, and I'm very, very fond of the blends that Per Georg Jensen has been producing through with Mac Baren. This is just something for me, and I just had to try it. The only what you could say downside issue with this is that since this is produced by Mac Baren, this has already gone out of production. Since this is not one of the blends that will be taken over by anyone, since this was a project from Cigarworld in Germany, together with Per Georg Jensen and together with Mac Baren, this is like a really niche tobacco blend, probably only available on the German market. So this is for sure one of the blends that will be going out of production. STG has no interest in carrying over this blend. So this will very soon be forgotten in time. And for me, I was just thinking this might be a hidden gem, so I just had to try it before it got out of production. So probably already it's not really running in the production facilities at Mac Baren and Svendborg anymore. Probably it is already gone out of production, even though that the factory is still running up until maybe 2027. But only bright side of the story is that Cigarworld out of Germany, which is available to me here in Denmark, said that they made sure when they got the information that Mac Baren was going out of production to have at least or around 5 years stock of all of their house blends that Mac Baren was producing for them, because they have more house blends that was made by Mac Baren. So if I like this, and I have already I have been smoking 3 balls out of it, and we will smoke the 4th one tonight. And I wanted to take you guys with me and see what the blend is all about. So this might be closer to the original English blue Capstan Navy Flake, because what is often spoken about, and especially in the Danish pipe community, is that there are a lot of people that really enjoyed the old blue Capstan Navy Flake, and on its journey in history, and when Mac Baren took over, people are saying today that the blend has changed. And even though people still enjoy it, they just say that the blue Capstan is not 100% as it used to be. And that is the same issue that we will probably have whenever STG is taking over the Mac Baren blends. That the blends that we really enjoy, like the Scottish mixture and stuff, that will be continue to be produced by STG, they will probably change at least a little bit. I'm at least expecting the worst. Another nice thing is that if this is as good as the blue Capstan or even better, these are coming in round tins with 100 grams in it, and the blue tins that I'm putting in my cellar, they are in the square tins that often end up leaking and don't hold a vacuum over time. So if this is just as good, and it's actually also cheaper, but that is just on a side note, it might be, as I said, a hidden gem for you guys that enjoy Virginia Flake. So I actually made some footage of me popping the tin, and I might not include that in this video, but let's see. So let's first look at the tobacco. It looks, excuse me, it looks more or less 100% like the blue Capstan Navy Flake. And what you see when you open up the tin, that you have the very familiar Mac Baren presentation with the gold tin foil. So this is very, very much like any other Mac Baren pipe tobacco, but it is not branded as a Mac Baren tobacco, but indeed it is. So you have the awesome presentation and the gold tin foil, and here you have the beautiful, beautiful flakes that are just perfectly square in the tin. So presentation is very much like Mac Baren, and it just looks and presents itself amazingly. So when you smell the tobacco, it smells 100% like the blue Capstan Navy Flake. And when I first got this recommended to me, the first thing that I thought was, could this actually be the exact same tobacco, just sold for a different market under a different name for a different is this just the same? But talking to the guys that were producing this, I in fact got to know that this is not the same at all. Actually, the raw tobacco that goes into it is the same as the blue Capstan Navy Flake from Mac Baren, but the casing and the flavoring of the blend is different. And according to Cigarworld, and what Per Georg Jensen originally said, is that this is coming closer to the original blend. So why he chose not to go, if this is closer to blue Capstan Navy Flake, and he had the knowledge to do it when he was replicating the blue Capstan Navy Flake under the same brand name through Mac Baren, why didn't he do it? And I have no idea. Maybe someone wanted to go slightly in another direction with the blend for another market or whatever. But yeah. It's sad that I don't have an open tin of blue Capstan Navy Flake, but this looks 100% like this. And it's probably made in the same presses and the same machines as the blue Capstan Navy Flake. So the last tin of Mac Baren blue Capstan Navy Flake that I have been smoking was a slightly aged tin with at least, I think it had 5 years of age on it. And this is one of the tobaccos that really improves with age. So if you like straight Virginia flakes, 5 to 10 years, from 5 years it starts to really improve, and I think they really shine with 10 years of age on them. So this is very, very fresh. This is produced the day 341 of 2024. So it's from the last quarter of 2024. So this is under a year old. So it's a very fresh tin. I like to enjoy my flakes rubbed out. So what I do is I just make it into a ready rubbed or a broken flake. Sometimes I experiment with folding and stuffing. For me, I get a better airflow and it burns slightly faster like this. I sometimes think that the flakes are burning a little bit too slow. if you're making the folding and stuffing method, but you get a very slow burning ball with folding and stuffing, which I think works a little bit against. It works against me. Moisture content is just perfect out of the tin. You can maybe let it dry for 5 to 10 minutes while rubbing it out, but yeah, and the smell is just like as I said 3 times already, it's like blue Capstan. It is fruity and it's bready. It smells like figs and raisins and hay and all of these terms that is all the time being thrown around when talking about straight Virginias. Would be smoking out of my trusty no-name pipe, and the bowl size is just perfect for 1 flake. So finally we get to be smoking, guys, if you have been waiting. So as I said, this is my 3rd or 4th, I think it's my 4th bowl of this. I wanted to make the video when trying it the first time, but sometimes it's a little difficult to actually know what you even think about it when it's the first time you smoke something. Now I have a little bit better idea of what I actually think, and this is what we're going to be talking about while we will be lighting this. I more or less have my first conclusion, since I will have to, this is probably the last ball that I'll be smoking, then I will put the tin, or I should say the tobacco, out of the tin and put it in a jar, and I will probably have to wait at least a few months before revisiting it. When you first open the tin and smoke a few balls out of it the first week, it is very fresh and it has some rough edges. Then it really improves quickly over a few months in the jar, because it gets a little bit of oxygen to it and it really opens up. And then for a few years not much happens, and then it starts to improve slowly with age, when the crystals when the sugar content will increase when the flakes are aging. So let's light it up. What I all the time experience when smoking Virginia tobacco, and especially straight Virginias and especially flake Virginias, is that the taste that you get out of them first shows itself and opens up when the ball kind of settles. So when you initially light the tobacco, like I'm doing right now, and getting the ball going, you're inducing a little bit of heat, of course, but you're inducing too much heat, which you have to do because you have to have the ball going. So the first quarter from lighting the tobacco until everything kind of settles in the ball, you get a few harsh notes, which I'm getting right now. You're getting all the Virginia taste, but they are like a burnt Virginia taste. And the sweetness that we all enjoy from the straight Virginia tobacco only comes when you are some minutes away from lighting it. So I'll let you know when I'm detecting that the flavor gets there. Because what I'm trying to say is, in short terms, is with Virginia, the ball gets better, and when you get mid-ball is where you really enjoy the Virginias, and I guess it has to do with controlling the heat, because when you're first lighting the tobacco, you induce a lot of heat keeping it lit. So now we got it going. So now we just have to slow down. We're getting there. There we go. Now we're getting that sweet, sweet Virginia taste. That pureness in taste where nothing is sticking out, but with Virginia you are like on a edge where it's very quickly you're falling over and you lose the taste. I find with burley and with mixtures and with aromatics, obviously, it's not so finicky. For me, Virginia can really change from ball to ball, and because what I'm trying to say is that Virginia quickly gets harsh for me and get like a tobacco, ashy, cigarette-y taste. But whenever you find the cadence and the right ball and the right, I had to learn how to smoke Virginias. They were not the easiest for me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So we're more or less there right now. The ball kind of settles, and we got a good we got the pipe going. So how does it compare to Blue Capstan Navy Flake? The first ball I smoked, if I didn't know that I wasn't smoking Blue Capstan Navy Flake, I for sure would have never ever, you could have fooled me with this one. This comes very close. But then, smoking it the second and the third time, I was like, there's a little bit of a difference here. Which might also just have to do with the tin being very fresh. But since I have never tried the original Blue Capstan Navy Flake before Mac Baren was taking over, so if this is closer to the original one not made by Mac Baren, it's hard to say. What I can conclude right now is that I really enjoy this. It is like Blue Capstan Navy Flake out of a round tin. It is made by Mac Baren, probably on the same machine, on the same cutters, on the same presses. I'm almost 100% certain from the information that I got that the tobacco going into the flakes are in fact the same. And then there is just a little bit of a slight difference in, maybe the casing is even the complete same. Maybe even though we're calling it a straight Virginia, there might be added some kind of a topping to it, which is non-detectable. It's not like a cherry, that's not what I mean by topping, but there might be added something to it. And this is where this might be slightly different. But it's only when I'm really searching for it, but it might be covered up in that I can taste that this blend is very fresh and the tin is very fresh. And this for sure has some of the Virginia rough edges that really just mellows out and becomes more enjoyable with age. So this for sure is not at its peak level. It is smokable, but for me it doesn't make sense to smoke it right now. at least a year. It gets better with 5, and the tins that I have tried with 10 years of age on them, that is where we are starting to really notice a difference. So classic straight Virginia, hay tones, the sweetness is there. It's kind of a full flavor. The Blue Capstan Navy Flake is actually a quite decent and quite strong straight Virginia. It has a decent amount of nicotine content that I don't really need or prefer, so to speak. But it's at least for my taste a pretty strong Virginia that I enjoy when I really want to taste tobacco. And it has a crazy amount of flavor. It's not something that you will just be puffing on like a freight train and not noticing. You really it's satisfying, what I'm trying to say. So I will just have to stock up on this. My conclusion is that this is just as good as the Blue Capstan Navy Flake. I have no clue how it ages, and that is, I'm expecting it to age nicely, and I will be adding this to my cellar. It comes in round tins, where the Blue Capstan comes in squares. This is a pretty cheap compared to Blue Capstan Navy Flake, because that this is not under a name that has a lot of history on it. It's made by the very famous Per Georg Jensen, which I really enjoy his tobaccos and his role in the pipe tobacco industry. And the history about the blend is just an interesting story. And the fact that it's already discontinued, but the stock is available for the foreseeable future, but eventually this is disappearing. So this was all that I was hoping for, and if you have this available to you wherever you are, try it out if you love the Blue Capstan Navy Flake. And I'm interested to hear if you notice a difference. And who knows what I got told, that there is a difference. Maybe that is just some BS. It might be the exact same tobacco going into the tin. Who knows? But it is for sure amazing. So the last thing that we have to talk about, that I kind of forgot in the beginning of the video, is the name. Bloemfontein. Strange name. If you're a little bit into geography, you might have noticed that this is a city or a part or in South Africa. And back in the days it belonged to Great Britain. And the reason that they chose this name for the blend is that you probably know, if you're familiar with Blue Capstan Navy Flake and the history and the myth about this tobacco blend, that this was the favorite all-day smoke by the very famous J.R.R. Tolkien, the famous writer behind Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And he's actually plays a big role in the mystery of the Blue Capstan Navy Flake, and maybe also has a part in that the tobacco blend got so popular, because pipe smoking and Tolkien just goes hand in hand, and it kind of made sense that people wanted to smoke what he was smoking when writing The Lord of the Rings. But the birthplace of J.R.R. Tolkien is in fact Bloemfontein. So that is also the reason and the history behind the kind of strange name for this pipe tobacco. And then they also made, as I mentioned in the beginning, the tin art. It's kind of going in the direction of the blue Capstan Navy Flake. So, if you get the opportunity to try this, try it out, and when it's already discontinued, this might in years to come be a hidden gem that I'll for sure have a little piece of my tobacco cellar making room for this one, so I can enjoy this when it has been aging. Yep. So, okay, 30 minutes. I said you were in for a long one, guys. So, that concludes it. The first review of the Bloemfontein Navy Cut. And we'll probably get back to this in a few months and see how it develops in the mason jar. And I'll probably revisit it at least a few times a year to see how it evolves and how it ages. Okay guys, let's round it up here. If you made it through the video, thanks for watching. Be looking out for more in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.